The unsettling silence. Bryan Kohberger and the Idaho murders. The Idaho college murders sent shockwaves across the nation, a brutal crime that shattered the tranquility of a small college town. For months, the identity of the perpetrator remained a chilling mystery, fueling fear and speculation. Now, after a lengthy investigation and a recent guilty plea, Bryan Kohberger has been sentenced to life in prison, bringing a degree of closure to the heartbroken families, yet leaving many questions hauntingly unanswered. On November 13, 2022, 4 University of Idaho students, Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin, were tragically stabbed to death in their off-campus home. The sheer brutality of the crime, coupled with the initial lack of suspects, created a climate of widespread unease. As investigators worked tirelessly, the public devoured every detail, hoping for a breakthrough. The focus eventually turned to Bryan Kohberger, a criminology PhD student at Washington State University, located just a few miles from Moscow, Idaho. His arrest in Pennsylvania nearly 6 weeks after the murders, based on DNA evidence found on a knife sheath at the crime scene, was a pivotal moment. Further evidence, including surveillance footage of his white sedan in the vicinity of the house and cell phone data placing him in the area on multiple occasions prior to the killings, built a compelling case. Earlier this month, in a plea deal that spared him the death penalty, Kohberger pleaded guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary. This week, he faced sentencing, receiving 4 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. The sentencing hearing was a profoundly emotional event. The families of the victims, raw with grief and unimaginable pain, delivered powerful victim impact statements, describing the vibrant lives that were stolen and the devastating void left behind. They spoke of the dreams shattered, the milestones missed, and the enduring terror that now shadows their lives. Many expressed their desperate need for an explanation, why, behind such senseless violence. However, Bryan Kohberger offered no such answers. When given the opportunity to speak in court, he remained stoically silent, only uttering a terse, "I respectfully decline." This refusal to provide any insight into his motive has left a lingering sense of frustration and bewilderment. Judge Stephen Hippler, acknowledging this unmet need for understanding, stated, "The need to know what is inherently not understandable makes us dependent upon the defendant to provide us with a reason, and that gives him the spotlight, the attention and the power he appears to crave." He concluded, "In my view, the time has now come to end Mr. Kohberger's 15 minutes of fame. It's time that he be consigned to the ignominy and isolation of perpetual incarceration." While the guilty plea and sentencing bring a formal end to the legal proceedings, the case of the Idaho murders continues to resonate. The sheer randomness of the attack, the lack of a clear motive, and Kohberger's unsettling silence leave a chilling imprint. The community of Moscow, the University of Idaho, and indeed, the entire nation, grapple with the unfathomable question of what drives such horrific acts. As Bryan Kohberger begins a life behind bars, the silence he maintains only deepens the tragedy, forever shrouding the why in a veil of unsettling mystery. Subscribe to Chero TV News 4.